Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games, and as always we'll start with EVE Online, where we got some new stuff in EVE Online. A patch has updated some of the games, and first of all we got the Guardians Gala back. I think that's pretty cool. I really enjoy these types of events, especially when I can run them in a battleship, and so my rattlesnake is back out there running Guardians Gala sites and trying to get some cool rewards out of all of that. It's still, in my opinion, the strongest PvE platform that you can get, and it's able to handle these sites very easily. Next to that we have the gate transition. I really like it. It keeps me in the game a little bit more, it keeps my immersion, and when I'm exploring around and going from system to system, I really feel like I'm making progress, and it is keeping my eyes on the screen a little bit more than before the gate transition was in the game. So I like it, and it hasn't bothered me at all so far with how you transition into the system or anything like that. I haven't noticed any real problems, except for a really long trip that I did to one of the trade hubs with a little bit of loot, of course, try and sell some of my exploration loot at a better price. And there the auto targeting feature, you could say, sometimes doubles you back. So rather than going for the next gate, which the locking of your camera usually does, it would lock on the previous gate, and then your ship would start to fly back. That is the one problem that I noticed, but I pretty easily managed to get my clicking routine in order, and instead of just pressing warp 2, I would use the use the gate itself on the overview and then keep going. So was not a big problem for me personally. For an autopilot it could be a problem. Not sure how it's working over there. And after that, of course, we also have the fleet finder that has made its way into the game. Interesting stuff. It is starting to affect my daily routine as well. Whenever I come online, I tend to take at least a quick look at the fleets that are up and running at the moment, and while I haven't joined any just yet, stuff that I'm looking at is mining fleets. Pretty interesting. I saw some really big mining fleets up and running, 20-30 plus ships in a mining fleet. That could be an interesting experience, I think, for first of all getting those free boosts, right? If you're mining not in an Orca but in a Machina or a Hulk or something like that, that could actually be worth it. And then secondly, my thinking is, if you can organize that big of a mining fleet, there has to be some industry behind that, and so that could actually be a nice market for you to try to sell your ores, your minerals at maybe a better price, or at least without having to do as much traveling as you would need to do going to Jeddah or the trade hub of your choice. So I do see potential in that, maybe something that I'll take a look at later down the line. And then the other fleets, although I haven't seen any successful ones so far, I'm sure that they're there. Forward operating bases, I saw a couple of fleets trying to be formed. I don't think they had enough members just yet, but trying to be formed for hitting one of these forward operating bases, and that's something that I've also actually thought about trying to do myself as well. And now seeing those come online from time to time means that I'll probably prepare a praxis and try to join one of these fleets and get that experience as well. It could be very interesting. So what did I do when I didn't join fleets? I did some more exploration first of all, of course. I'm back in the Rennes region, and it's still holding up. I'm really amazed. I basically have to check 5 systems and I get a lot of great combat sites with loot dropping there. It's those 2 Edencom fortresses in 0.5 systems that are really amazing, and the systems around them also seem to be attracting a lot of good sites. Now there is a lot of competition, I have to say. Rennes is picking up in activity in general, and so there is more Gilas, Stradioses, lots of other exploration ships around, but I mean, I'm still getting a great result, so I'm really surprised. It is paying off a lot. The Minmatar experiment is going really well, and yeah, Rennes has that unique little feature that makes it very juicy and interesting. So for me, for now, the Orca is there until I plan to maybe move somewhere where there's a mining fleet, try to join that and combine that with exploration. It's definitely a possibility, but at the moment I'm back in the Detal region. I had to do the print copies again. I have to manage the PI for my planet, still have to do that actually. And then of course that's where my rattlesnake is for the Guardians Gala, so that's probably the plan for next week. And when it comes to those BPCs, yeah, in Amar, not good news. I actually had Orca BPCs lapse, something that I haven't seen in many months, so those aren't selling that well. I'm trying to now be a little bit aggressive this week, see if I can move product by undercutting the rest of the market by 1 to 2 million. You know, I'll give you guys an update on that probably in 2 weeks, because I'm on that 10-day cycle now from an NPC station. But after that, probably going to move stuff more to other trade hubs. Though Dixie and yeah, the Minmatar trade hubs actually picking up in activity may be the next go-to place for my BPCs, because they're not selling that well in Amar at the moment, unfortunately. And yeah, that was my week for EVE Online. Which brings me to my second game of the week, and that is Path of Exile. I've been enjoying the league a lot more again, this time going for one of my classics, a minion build, although I went for the Golemonster rather than a Necromancer, mostly because I had this one gem drop that gave the golems that extra bonus the more individual or unique types of golems that I would have on the field. So that was very nice, actually still very powerful, although once I got into the maps, it did start to, you know, I started to feel some of the limits. I was trying to run this massive constant army, so I had zombies, specters, an animate guardian, and then as many golems as I could manage, and that was actually going really well, especially when at one point I found some sort of tactician guys as my 3 specters, and they would then summon little skulls themselves, and that would mean that eventually my army would actually overwhelm whatever was running within, for instance, one of those rituals and things like that. That was super impressive actually, and also felt very safe. I think that they would attract damage from the mobs as well, and I could basically just run around there and feel very safe while that was up and running. Now at one point then I lost those specters because I did a switch, an upgrade to a little bit of my gear, unfortunately, and then I've been hunting for them, but I couldn't find them. So instead, what dropped was a necklace that gave me +3 to golems, and I can only have golems at this point. So I really had to go full golems using that one, and that's what I'm running at the moment. It's not as good, I would say, as the mix with having some zombies, having the specters, and having the animate guardian. I think that, you know, overall that damage is a lot better, but you do get all of the boosts, of course. All of the golems are up and running. I'm running 8 of them, and I chose 3 earth golems that have nice AoE slamming activities, and then I'm also using the prey thing that gives like 15% extra damage, and they can focus a target of my choosing, which is actually pretty handy and something that I was missing when I was running the passive massive army, you could say there. So very interesting experiment. I do feel like I learned a lot again when it comes to minions and to the skill tree as well. I basically got everything, I think, in a nice package for those minions. They were very strong, they just wouldn't die. I would hardly see any real damage being done to them. It's pretty damn impressive, and it's a playstyle that I really enjoy, but I kept running into that same problem at the end of my session, basically, with that character, which is that as I go into the yellow maps and things like that, sometimes they're just those one-shot mechanics, and my character is definitely not ready for that, and I would need to learn more about gearing, crafting, things like that for endgame if I want to keep going. And then I'm not really sure how I would scale the minion damage to keep up with everything at that point as well. So Altite is kicking in. I've got another character in the works, but overall, yeah, next to EVE Online, I'm still having fun with Path of Exile, with the Ritual League. I'm trying to get enough rings for like that 6-link chest. I think that could be cool. Never achieved that, and it's just a great game for a free-to-play game. Honestly, really amazing. And so yeah, that's still on the menu for me. Next to EVE, it is more Path of Exile. And that was my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.